Come on, let's go into some strategy. So you said one audience, one channel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Most people literally don't realize this.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the basic fundamentals that like is just, you cannot argue against it.
Yeah.
It's one audience for one channel. Like how I like to think about it is I like to think of my YouTube channel as a book, right? So let's say that I have a book and it's titled How to Get a Six Pack, right? The chapters inside of that book might be diet, might be exercise, it might be sleep, right? Let's say those are the three main chapters. And so, or the three things that the book would be about. If I suddenly add a chapter in there that's talking about YouTube, there's no reason to have that.
Yeah.
It just is completely out of place. And somebody reading that book is probably just going to be like, what is this? And they'll put the book down and they'll stop reading it.
Yeah.
And your YouTube channel is the exact same way. So, you know, if you have a YouTube channel all about getting abs, you should talk about three things: sleep, exercise, and diet, right?
Yeah.
And if you stray from that, if you do a day in the life vlog in New York City, it's not going to work that well.
Yeah.
Could, but probably not.
Yeah. It depends on like the audience interest too.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. Because like what you're talking about, like day in the life in like a fitness kind of channel, like it could like
That could work.
Right. Like it depends on specific audience interest and like what the audience actually wants. Right.
That's
So
true.
it always comes back to the audience. Right. And then plus one of the things that we also talked about kind of in private was like, hey, what video formats actually generate the most of the money?
Yeah.
Most amount of money on a business level, right? Because there's a bunch of businesses that's like, hey, I want to do vlogs or I want to do like some kind of lifestyle content. But right on a business level, does the YouTube video attract someone who's wants to pay you money? Answer is probably not, and you want to think about it from that perspective, right? Like, you want to think about, okay, what's the specific audience interest? Does the audience interest map onto my existing audience that I have and the kind of content that I want to make, and the new format that you want to test? Let's say it's a vlog, where vlog's super simple example. Like another format would be like a screen share, the Miro board, PowerPoint, talking over Google Doc, or just like a talking head. That's something that you really want to consider. And I don't know about you, but I have lots of conversations about this. Like, hey, like what do I do with my channel? Like I want to expand audiences. Like how do you think about expanding audiences from like the existing one that you have? And like, because a lot of business owners, many interests, right? They have many interests. Like if I run a Google Ads agency, I'm probably also interested in funnels. I'm also probably interested in Facebook ads.
Yeah.
How do you think about like, hey, should I continue piling it on the same channel, or should I start a completely new channel?
Great question. And the answer is it depends. For some people, it makes sense not to expand. Like it makes sense to just keep going with the same topic for 10 years, right? And become the Google Ads guy. But for some people, like for example, Iman Gaji, like he's a person who maxed out his niche. He's taught people how to start a marketing agency. He got 100,000 subscribers in there and then kind of just hit a plateau because, you know, it's a small niche. There's not that many people in starting a marketing agency. So then he realized, okay, I've plateaued. I've hit my peak in that niche. Let me take one step outside and talk about broader business.
Yeah.
Right. And so he talked about that, and then that got him to 1 million subscribers. And then he was like, okay, I've kind of hit my peak talking about broader business. Let me take one more step outside. And that was, you know, relationship advice, life advice, all of this kind of stuff. And the only reason why that worked, if he started talking about life advice on day one when he was 18 and broke, it just, no one would have listened to him. You know, it would not have worked.
Yeah.
You have to, as you level up, you can take steps outside if it makes sense. Typically, if you're more B2C, it makes sense to take steps outside. If you're more B2B, oftentimes it makes sense to stay in your niche.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But also like a big part of that move, it's also like talking about like broader business, or like best online business was like his most popular video.
Yep.
Is also in line with audience interest.
It is.
Of his initial like marketing audience. So it allows you to expand. So it's like, if what you're trying to expand to isn't within your existing audience interests, can't really expand.
It's true. Yeah. And so like, for example, like if you, let's say you cap out YouTube script writing.
Yeah.
You could expand into YouTube growth. That would work. But if you tried to expand into like, I don't know, Instagram growth,
Yeah.
just none of your audience would translate.
Yeah,
just wouldn't make sense.
But like you could possibly expand to that, like once you go from like YouTube script writing to like YouTube growth,
yeah,
to like social media growth, and then Instagram growth is one of your content buckets.